Good morning. It's day 21. It's our bonus day. We're doing one extra day because I decided I wanted to add a couple more things to my piece. But first of all, I want to thank three of my staff members that have been so committed these last nearly 3 weeks that we've been working on this. And that is to my son Jason, who's done all the graphics and newsletters. And to Kelly, who's put together a lot of the web information, and to our lovely Sarah, who's done all the videos and editing. Without them, this would not have been possible. This was a huge job that we've loved to share with you, and we hope that we'll be able to do this again in another 20 years. So I hope you've enjoyed it. So today I'm just going to do a little extra talking and showing on a little bit of background stitching. We're going to add bees and ladybugs and little silk ribbon flowers. So the bees and ladybugs are part of a book that I've been writing for a very long time on bugs, and hopefully that is going to be launched later this year, which will be full of all sorts of fun things we've been working on. So look out for that. That will be coming soon. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the background layering stitching. And a lot of you that do my block of the month will be very familiar with my approach to this. I talked about in the second video about how I make my layering fabrics be very similar to the background colors, because I don't want them to read as applique, and I just want them to become part of the background. So what I love about stitching on them is the more I stitch on them, the more they become part of the background and don't stand up as layering elements. So I always use a variety of threads that sort of blend with the colors. So I've used a bit of Eleganza 8, House of Embroidery 8, Sashiko thread, and I do love the Sashiko thread, especially the Duruma, because it is not a surface thread. It actually blends into the fabric, so it makes the backgrounds even look more, the layering be more like the background. So what I would do is just once you've done all your all your stitching, is just fill in between the little areas where you have layering. So here I've just done little running stitches in different, straight, horizontal, vertical, curved, and I've just sort of followed. Every so often I'll do a few French knots. I came over here, I did a few little X's, so little detached chain stitches. So I use a lot of the little stitches in the book. So if you look in the book, you'll find seed stitch, French knots, running stitch, even back stitch you could use, detached chains, and we added a few little stitches at the back of the new book, the second edition as well. So there's no rhyme or reason, but the more I stitch on it, the more I always want to stitch on it, because it adds a whole nother element to the piece and gives it a really nice texture in the background. So pull out a few of your threads that will blend with your background and your 24 chenille needle, and just do some what I call meditative stitching, just meandering around with no rhyme or reason. And that'll add some texture. The next thing I'm going to add are some little bees, and so I'm going to show you one of my little bee samplers. And here again I use a variety of Eleganza threads and Razzle and Dazzle that blend. So I generally like this EZM01 rather than its jet black thread or this variegated black for the dark thread, and then you can use a variegated or more of a solid, or here is a Dazzle. So we do have a little thread packs called Build a Bee and Build a Ladybug, which are on the website. if you don't want to choose your own threads. So those are what are in there. Here I've done one with more of black thread with a a lighter yellow, but the one I love the most is where they variegate this black brown variegation. So these are, and we've given you a pattern on the newsletter, so make sure you print that out, are bullion knots done in different lengths, and then pistol stitches for the antenna and detached chains for the wings. So sometimes I'll do one detached chain, sometimes I'll put a second one inside. So there are also some other stitches like bullion loops you could do, or you could use your silk ribbon and do detached chains with silk ribbon. So lots of variations on the wings, and like I said, my new book is going to have other variations of the bees as well. So those could just fly among your flowers. You could do a few. I've done one little one up here on this sampler. You can see up there with those, the gold that I like and the variegated brown. You can also add some little ladybugs. So you could either put a ladybug on your leaves or just around the base they could go. So sometimes I'll do little ladybugs that are just 2 bullion knots either side of the central one, or I'll do 3 if they're a little bit bigger. The little ones I generally don't put little legs on, but the others I do. So I use a sort of black or the black brown again, and you can see this one's done out of dazzle. So if you like a bit of sheen and glitter, that's a really fun one to do. And you can do them in any sort of red, orangey red, as well as if you have some pinky ones, you can do those as well. And I have known there are little ones that are more of a greeny color, so you could have fun with that as well. So I hope you enjoy adding those and working from our little bonus patterns for the 2 little bugs. The next thing I'm going to show you, and I'm actually going to demo one of these, is making these little ribbon roses. So they are in the book. A lot of people have not done them because and when I teach them in class, they always puts a smile on people's face. So I thought it would be a really fun thing to add. So we could add them just as little roses at the bottom of, like here I've added them just on as one of the little stems. So, or you can make a cluster of them. So if you haven't worked with silk ribbon, you want to cut a length of about 12 to 18 inches. So I always say it depends on the quality of your ribbon. If you're using China silk, which is the one that holds up the best, you can use a longer thread. Otherwise, you'll want to use a shorter one because they generally fray a little bit on the edge if you keep stitching through the wool.